today's Minute of the Apes. You remember Ape a Gape? Well, now we got Mark a Mouth open.
Divine bomb. Ladies and gentlemen, it's a gentleman. There is fire, there is smoke. Now, fight like a minute of the apes. A minute of the apes. A minute of the apes. A minute of the apes.
Hello and welcome to Minute of the Apes, the daily podcast where we break down every minute of the Planet of the Apes movies, 1 minute at a time. I'm Todd, who is celebrating that we didn't have Sean busting a gut over a video. That only happened in between the minutes.
I'll be showing you one later.
But we now have Mark a Mouth. Tell me about that, Richard. We got Mark a Mouth. I like that. How long did it take you to come up with that one?
I just watched the minute and realized, that like several flies were able to make it out of his mouth this entire minute because it was open the entire time. Literally, this is his acting this minute.
And what you can't see is Richard not only opened his mouth, but he slumped his shoulders and leaned forward.
That's basically what he's doing this entire minute. It's just, his mouth is just wide open.
He's catching flies. Yeah.
He's a mouth breather.
How many more minutes do we have of this movie?
It's 120 minutes.
So we've got 46.
We do have a very obvious reveal in this one. We can talk about when we get there.
All right.
All right. Let's get this shit done with.
Sean, tell us.
Let's go watch. Let's watch him slice this fat bastard up.
Tell us what happens in minute 74.
All right, we're gonna start minute 74 with Davidson manhandling a skull, and ends with Davidson reaching for a panel.
All right, here comes minute 74, Planet of the Apes.
It's impossible.
What is it?
It's my ship.
But these ruins are thousands of years old.
I was just here a few days ago.
As minute 74, we have an Oberon's worth of apes and humans, 2 displaced pods worth of humans and apes, wild humans in Ape City, minus 2 gorillas, and humans on the loose and monkeys on the march.
All right, so we get the reveal of the skull from the sand, and he tosses it into his hand to catch it. And then he has his Hamlet moment as he looks at the skull and ponders existence before we see the letters on the wall, C-A-L-I-M-A. Though you see something before the U, there's something else. And I'm sorry, any intelligent person would know that. And also, do they use our symbols? Would they know how to read that?
English, yeah, we'll get there.
Okay, so we see that. I'm sorry, allergies are killing me. Mark reaches out and then he scrapes it away very easily. Caution, live animals. So that is the genesis of Kalima before he steps on and begins to realize this is my ship, because he sees the bays where the monkeys were kept before. He runs further into it. And deep within the recesses, we still have intact glass and structures of the bridge as all our people look around at it. And Mark begins his... Is that the Mark a Mouth moment that you were talking about?
Just in general, his mouth is open the entire time.
Yeah, the whole time.
So they all look at it back and forth. It is nothing but them looking forward to this structure. And he walks up to it and begins the process of maybe touching something. And I think that's about it visually. Okay. The skull.
Would it be perfectly detached from a spine like that?
Jaws are not
Maybe
attached to the skull. The skull is different than the jaw.
Sure.
So once you die, the tendons and cartilage fall apart, and the jaw does not stay. So if you're going to pick it up, you're not going to have that little clicker at the bottom there.
Okay.
And it's completely devoid of
there's no body
spine.
there. Yeah.
Like, it's just a skull.
But
Why
Why
have
are
a
you so
skull?
flippant? Are you tossing it?
He has no problem. He has no. He's not queasy about it. Yeah.
And he's also just a piece of shit. This was somebody you knew. Let me toss around like a fucking baseball. Hey, do you guys want to see me throw a fastball? I can throw a curve too.
He's very cavalier with that skull. Yeah.
So he finds a skull. I mean, if anything, he didn't need to find the skull.
No, I thought the same thing.
Finding the ship alone would make him wonder:
Where
are
are
my
the
people
people?
somewhere? It would give us a bigger mystery, right? We talked about this possibility of maybe they survived and they
started a tribe
and they started a tribe, and that's how the ape maybe that's how the humans are here, is because they're part of the tribe.
Why they can speak?
Because also,
Which I don't have a problem with that if that's how they evolved, if that makes sense.
this skull could be a skull from one of the humans that live here, not necessarily a person from the ship. I mean,
also 1,000 years. Would that skull still be in that shape?
when do you start to turn to dust?
Yeah.
Well, it really depends on the conditions.
Climate.
Yeah, because
And this is a very desert-like climate,
You
though. I
think it
can
would
see
be-
that bake the shit out of that
Yeah.
over time.
but it's been inside, so
True.
it's kind of protected from the weather.
So-
but
True.
Then we see Calma, Kalima,
that's
which is different letters on different
on three
lines
different lines. They make one
that
word.
nobody thought to brush off.
Yes,
I-
and
yes.
thousands of years, nobody once dusted.
Thought to brush that off, but it was just taken that this is he reveals it to say caution live animals. It was
Also, this is the only sign on the ship that's still
Mm-hmm.
intact.
it's a little hokey.
A little?
Well, but that's just okay. So if this had been caution live animals and the other letters had been faded and not covered in dust, that might make more sense to me. Or partially destroyed sign.
Yeah.
That would follow, and you would see caution live animals somewhere else
But
to
to
kind of put it together.
dirt on it that could have easily been moved off at any point in time. Yeah.
And again, to your point, when did they learn how to read that they could
English,
read
yeah,
Kalima
and put
in
it
such
together,
a way?
yeah.
I do think if you were to re-explore this film, it would be what happened when the Oberon crashed and how did this evolve the way that it did, right? That could be fascinating. Are these humans descendants of the original Oberon,
survivors
of Oberon?
Right.
That's why they can talk. Why the apes never returned to this area? Was there a battle at some point? Was it radioactive? Was there, there's some possible. Why is there just a random skull?
Yeah.
Well, go ahead, Sean.
Another thing is, Ari says this place has been here for thousands of years. Evolution does not occur on a scale of thousands of years. Evolution occurs over millions of years. So we will not see look back 5,000 years ago, we have dogs, but we don't have talking dogs now. We don't evolve that fast.
But we
will
also
not-
don't know what experiments were going on the ship and if maybe things mutated. But they would have need to introduce
that earlier.
Well,
yes.
he does look at the cells that he had Pericles in and the other apes and sees that they're busted and open,
yeah.
suggesting that these were the apes that escaped. At
Which
some
again
point.
isn't okay. The caution live animals in those cages is enough for him to 100% identify.
Know
'cause
where it
we-
is, yeah.
Because did we see the caution
we
live
did
animal
see it
sign
in the very beginning
Okay.
of the movie. Yeah.
You see that. You see that enough. I don't. To your point, why do we fucking need the skull? It's unnecessary.
Right.
And if anything, it actually creates weird. Instead of fear and whatnot, it creates sympathy because this is a poor soul that died, and it's just so fucking sloppy.
He runs around the corner. This is supposed to be the bridge, is where he's supposed to be, is the bridge.
From the
Well,
earlier
hang
minute.
on. Show me.
That's minute 7?
I guess okay.
Minute 6.
Because
sorry.
when you look at this, it's. Let me see your sign again.
Yeah, there you go.
Those letters don't look embossed. These look embossed against the
Correct.
metal.
Yeah.
For
But,
sure.
we can't really tell.
And all the sediments in there, that's why you can't see it.
Yeah.
But it also, the ship is on in this, what it originally got me, the ship's now on an angle because it's crashed. So I get that. I
little
originally,
canted.
I almost thought it was like, you remember how Empire Strikes Back had that kind of, its logo went up like this just a little bit. I thought that's what it was, but I see now that the ship is just descending down like that.
Yeah.
He runs around the corner. This is where he formally identifies it as
The Oberon.
his ship.
It's my ship.
It's my ship. I'm surprised he didn't figure it out before that, but
Well, I mean, the fact that it says contact on his beacon, locator beacon, you think you know where you are.
Right, but we'll just at this point he's assuming it's another vehicle, maybe a different ship had crashed, a different exploratory vehicle, and it's him running around the corner actually realizing that, oh my god, this is my actual ship. Okay, I can get behind that. I love that Ari's just so cold, but these ruins are thousands of years old. It's like oh, I don't know what you're talking about.
Well, before we even get to that, so he runs up. Let's see. He puts the skull down. He looks over. Once again, unmotivated look away from the skull to the caution. There's nothing that should make him look to that.
See that
then
sign,
his
yeah.
reactions become, oh no, it's impossible. If from that point on, there's no more reaction. It should be no.
Yeah.
It should be building. You don't write a symphony and introduce your main theme unless you've done some chaos to pay it off, right? They've done nothing. Allergies are going to kill me today. They've done nothing to build the anticipation of how hard this is. I'm going to
Take a breath. Yeah.
Hang on. Y'all talk.
Well, I mean, I need the if we're gonna bring 12 other people along, I need them to react to something. Again, if one of them had found the skull, if one of them had brushed off the caution live animals for Kalima for him to see, just something to kind of move through this moment a little bit better.
I do like 30 seconds how Limbo is just kind of hanging out at the back.
Again, they don't need all these people.
Yeah.
I had not even, and thank you for letting me go cough and be able to breathe again. That's funny. I had not thought about Limbo. He's okay. Yeah. So in the shot with the skull, he's just the one who probably yaks more than anybody. Doesn't have a reaction to this.
He's the one that should be saying stuff.
Right.
That's a good idea.
The comedy. Again, you have a lot of characters. Let them do some of Leo's discovery for him. Let them pick up the skull. Let them wipe off caution live animals. Let them see the crate. And Leo's just kind of reacting to the shock and the horror of what he's seeing.
What if, to that idea, he picks up the skull, he's looking at it. What if one of the apes walks over and says, Kalima? And he looks up. And that makes him... They would have reference. They're seeing some artifact that... Here's Moses's,
the Promised Land.
Yeah, it's the tablets. And all I can think of is Melton Brooks dropping
the 15 Commandments. The 10 Commandments.
But...
Speaking of which, that's going to be out soon.
I'm sure I'm watching that. That looks like a mess, but who knows? But that's what they're seeing, and they should see it and draw his eye around, and then you can have him discover it. But I love the idea of Limbo being a part of this. But you're right. He is so passively non-existent, even to the point when he shows up again in roughly 42 seconds, he's just lingering over Estella's shoulder, and that's all.
I mean, these actors had nothing to do for however long it took to shoot these scenes.
And considering they had to put on all that makeup.
It had nothing to do. Riding on horses, getting out, walking around, I would just feel like props at this point, not actual actors. Okay, so I said it a couple of seconds ago, but yeah, I could see why maybe he hasn't connected that this is his ship.
Yeah.
That this is a ship that was a research vessel that was supposed to come get him. Now he knows that it was an actual ship. Even though maybe he should have known it was a ship because of his locator.
Yeah,
I don't know.
There should have been a lot of things that told him this is his ship.
Yeah, I mean, the fact that you got contact, you're here.
I mean, he is Air Force. Maybe that's why he's just kind of dumb.
Is that what it is?
So, in the previous
do you have
movie,
do you have a relationship with an Air Force person in the past that you're secretly digging in?
No,
that was just a good joke.
in the first movie, we established that Charlton Heston's character was on Earth for a good amount of time because he was hurt where he couldn't talk and then healed himself. He's only been here a couple of days. He should still be in more shock. I don't know what's going on.
And why did he think he had 36 hours?
I don't know that one. I don't really unless
It was like a timer.
But remember, he said, I've got 36 hours.
Yeah.
Okay.
What was going to happen on hour 37?
You can lose out of
gonna
battery?
Give up looking?
We're out of food. I mean, because that makes no sense.
Yeah.
That he would get some type of response that he's got 36 hours to return to show up to the ship was the...
When we first saw the tricorder, did it have some counting clock like maybe it's initiated contact? And
It just
he just said
I don't recall seeing that. It's one of those you try to watch every detail, and I thought maybe that one got past us, but I don't recall that either.
I'm going back.
Well, you can tell us in the next minute because I feel like this one needs to be put to bed.
All
right. For Richard and Sean and my allergies, I'm Todd. Everyone have a great day.
Bye.
Bye, everybody.
Come in.